All right, guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the Aftermarket Recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thank you so much for joining me today and every afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a quick update. As you know, Friday is Christmas Eve. Market is closed, so no morning note and no Aftermarket Recap. Enjoy your weekend starting early that weekend starting Friday, and you have Saturday and Sunday. How nice. And then the week after, you have New Year's. So best time of the year if you're the type of person that likes to be with family and enjoy yourself. So that's great. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it today. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo. Click on that. Turn notifications. Subscribe to our channel. Like our videos. It's very important that you press like because we really would appreciate it. Helps the algorithms in terms of YouTube. Comment any of your questions here on the live chat or comment below the video after the video is done if you like, and we'll answer to the best of our abilities. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it. Dow Jones closed down 433 points today. Nasdaq down 1.24%. The S&P down 1.14%. This is off the lows, obviously. We were down as much as 650 points on the Dow. I apologize for the lighting. My light went out in my office. I think I just have to replace the bulb. No big deal. I'll work on it. So I still have some kind of this purple lighting around the room. So I do enjoy that, definitely, at night when I want to vibe out, listen to some music. All right, VIX closed up 6.03% at 2287. Small caps did get hit the worst among the majors, down 1.4% on the IWM. The dollar index down slightly, 0.04%, 96.52. Yield starting to bounce a little bit, 1.419 on the 10-year. Gold did fall today. GLD down 0.42% today. Silver down 0.53%. Looking at the credit markets, high yield credit did lose 0.17% today on the bonds, 86.22. 132.43 for investment grade bonds today, down 0.44%. Crude oil did fall 4% today on the day. It is down now 2.12%, 69.22 a barrel. Let's look at the cryptocurrency. Let me go ahead and get the latest cryptocurrency quotes. I'll get it in front of you here. Bitcoin 47,000, Ethereum flirting with that 4,000 level. Solana down 3% the last 24 hours. Bitcoin, BNB, Binance Coin down about 1% the last 24 hours. XRP up 3.74%. Terra up 6.29%. Avalanche up 3.5%. Shiba up 3% the last 24 hours. Anything that stands out? I think that's it. That's all the ones I know. Let me go ahead and show you my portfolio. Again, I didn't really haven't sold anything or anything. I did buy 2 hours ago $25 for the SHIB. That's every week I do, $25, and I just let it ride. Out of everything that I own, remember I took Shiba a couple of months ago. I took some profit, so I'm getting just riding it here down about 9%. My port, the graph, again, I sold Cardano for that. It's down about 38%. Not really worried about it. Polygon has been a big winner. Luna has been a big winner. Obviously, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple also winning, doing well. SushiSwap, the biggest laggard in my port. Not a big deal. I'll just hold on to that. But again, nothing really sold. Obviously, I'll post when I do. Once we start getting out or just started divesting our crypto holdings, of course, we'll keep that in mind for you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at some charts today, and then we'll take a look at some of the market action. You're looking at here, you can see that support was tested. 45.17 was a big level on S&P. Why? Because it was the 100-day moving average on the daily. And I put that right there. I tweeted about that and I posted on Instagram. 45.17, a huge level. Keep in mind, the 100-day moving average is a big level to break down because we've only broken it 1 month, which was really October and September. So after that, we had a nice little rally. So again, it could be just a retest of the 100-day. You know, again, people taking some profits. We know some prominent CEOs have taken some profits in their stock, which is fine. But you could see really the whole year, the 100-day moving average has held up. So again, I did buy some SPY-G today. I did buy some shares with Investment Club. I usually buy every week, but I went ahead and dumped some more cash into it right at the 100-day moving average. Again, I'm willing to own it long term, so I'm cool with it. You can see that we're up after hours as well. 45.69. What we did today, we did buy some SPY calls and we caught them today. I believe it was the 460s. We bought the 460s for this week. We caught it for 40%. Well done for the team. It was nice to get some green on the board after a very, very tough last couple of days, unfortunately. But you know what? This is what it is, and you just keep fighting. That's all you got to do. Looking at Nasdaq as well, let's take a look at the Nasdaq futures. The 100-day moving average was broken, but then it did bounce. So you see 15,530 was the key level there to hold. QQQ right at the 100-day moving average. SPY above the 100-day moving average on the daily. As you can see, it mirrors exactly everything else. So again, looks like just a retest of that 100-day. It'd be nice to see if we can get about 459 by the end of the week. Maybe Santa Rally is running a little late. We'll see. Again, we still have about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the rest of the week. And then next week we have another 4 days until the end of the year. My God, the year has definitely flown. So that's where we are currently in terms of the market. A couple of earnings reports that did come out today. Micron did report earnings. I'll get you the numbers here. Micron adjusted EPS of $2.16. Their estimate was $2.12. Their free cash flow from operations was $3.94 billion versus the estimated $4.07 billion. Nice spike from 82 to around 88. The good news is that is helping AMD. That is helping Nvidia, and they're up a little bit, and that's helping Qualcomm after hours. So again, you may not own Micron, but again, if you own semiconductors, this is a really, really great report to see that. I mean, it's been a while since we've had earnings, it feels like, but we'll be getting them again in January, and that's where we are currently in terms of Micron. Let's go and take a look at Nike. Nike is one of the shares that I do own. It closed right at 156.98. It is now at 162.50. We hit as high as around 164.43, right below that 100-day moving average on the hourly chart. Let's go ahead and go over some of the numbers in terms of Nike. Let's see it. Nike, 83 cents of an EPS, earnings per share estimate. They beat expectations of 63 cents, so 20 cents per more EPS. Good stuff. Revenue beat as well, 11.36 billion off of 11.25 billion estimate. Here's some other numbers. Q2 earnings looks good. This is from Gary Black on Twitter. With overall revenue, gross margins, and earnings beats by geography, U.S. sales were very strong, up 12% versus 4% expected. But China, which has already been reduced, were minus 20, minus 6.5%. The conference call should be going on now on Nike. If you're interested in that and you are a shareholder, you can take a look through your broker, or you can just Google the actual earnings report. There's also some really great apps. There's one that I also use for earnings. If I can find it here, I thought I had it. Where's the earnings? It's called Quarter, Q-U-A-R-T-R. That's the app if you want to listen to the earnings report that is happening right now. A couple of notes here in terms of history of Nike's December quarter in revenue since 2006. I'll go ahead and show you. This is from Bullish Rippers. You can see now we're at 11.4 billion, still growing. The segment is still growing. Look at 2006, 3.8 billion in terms of revenue for Nike. Nike has been doing great. I do own shares. I love Nike. It's one of my favorite companies to own, not just because of their growth prospects, but again, I'm a big sneaker guy, so why not own something that you actually use and consume? I've always been saying that. A couple of names today that did well. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the heat map on the S&P. You can see Broadcom is up today's session. Netflix, Pfizer, AbbVie, Merck, AT&T continued to rise. Live Nation Entertainment, Electronic Arts, ATVI, which is Activision Blizzard, Take-Two. Again, kind of the stay-at-home, huh? Because of the COVID fears. Excuse me. PepsiCo was up in terms of the consumer defensive. Procter, Walmart, Costco, Kimberly-Clark, and Clorox did well. Tesla among the big caps down 3.5%, right at 900. Amazon 1.73 down. Facebook down 2.5%. Google kind of flat. Apple did bounce, was down as much as 1.5%, down 8.81%. Microsoft down 1.2. Oracle announced that they're going to go in an actual, I think it was they're going to buy a company out. Let me give you the exact company that they're buying. Oracle announced it, I believe, this morning, or there was news on it yesterday. Let's see if I can find Oracle here. Okay, I guess I don't have it. I know I retweeted it. Let's see. Oracle. Thought I had it here. The Oracle info, if I can find it. Oracle expected to announce the deal to acquire Cerner, which was today, and that's ticker CERN. So we're getting some M&A, which is not bad. Again, that's not something you usually see in a bear market for the most part, is mergers and acquisitions. Again, AMC, Netflix, GME, Home Depot, Costco on my watch list did well today. Some of the laggers today: Peloton, CGC, Moderna, Neo, Blink, Alibaba, Palantir, Upstart, I believe, Square, and Under Armour were the biggest losers on my watch list today for the most part. Let's take a look here at the sectors, what groups did well, what didn't, and basically all red today. Utilities were down, least amongst the rest. Consumer defensives, again, very defensive. Healthcare as well. They held up okay, but it was still red. Cyclicals, financials, industrials, materials, all were the worst performers. Technology, energy, real estate, kind of right in the middle. So that's what we got today. Today was one of those days, man, you really don't do much. You're really just watching to see if those moving averages hold. We did. We caught SPY. Great. But for the most part, we still have a lot of work to do, a lot to catch up for the last couple of weeks. So again, the real big deal here is really the moving averages. Since we don't have any Fed speak, we know what they said in terms of FOMC last week, and Powell did. We don't have much in terms of economic data. We had some earnings. The real big earnings were today, Nike, Micron. So it's really just the end of the year. Again, the question is, do we get positioning going into 2022? Do traders and hedge funds and algorithms use that 100-day moving average as a buy level? So again, if you're looking at the market as a whole, for the most part on the daily chart, you can see that the RR, the risk reward here, the best path of least resistance would be upwards. Now, granted, what is the stop? 4602 is your 50-day. That would probably be a good level to kind of hit if you want to take some profits on some trades, fine. But again, 45.69 is where we're kind of right there in terms of right in the midpoint from peak to trough from the last move. What we can do here as kind of a quick draw up, we can do some quick fibs and see where we are. Let me go ahead and get that for you. We'll go from peak to trough, and I just got booted. Of course I did. All right, so we'll do peak to trough here. You can see here 47.43. Again, on a quarter, we'll go all the way to the lows, the most recent lows, which is around 44.91, and you can see that we're still not even at that 50% Fibonacci retracement, but we're near it. So again, 46.17 is your 50-day 50% retracement, right above the 23 level. 38.2 has not been retaken. Again, this is a daily chart, and I'll leave it there to make life easy for the most part, as the full retracement would be the highs. Again, you could flip it between 0 and 100. Again, the marks stay the same in terms of Fibonacci levels. So again, it's really just a wait and see approach for the most part. All right, let's answer some questions. Let's see. Costas is asking, hello, boss. Novavax has received EU marketing conditional approval and WHO, which is the World Health Organization, approval. Price action was insane. Any thoughts on this roller coaster chart? All right, let's take a look at it. Let me get a sip of coffee here. All right, let's take a look at NVAX today. We'll start with the daily. Again, you can see just pretty much a lot of just noise. Not really any breakouts or breakdowns, but if we take a look at the hourly action, you can see a nice spike between 246 and close at 203. Is this the best thing to trade here? No. I mean, because it's all news-based. So unless you have some really inside info on approvals or the EU or stuff like that, I really wouldn't touch it. If you wanted to go ahead and buy the stock here, the 200-day isn't exactly a bad place to start. That's usually my line that I use. The 193.59 isn't a bad level if you wanted to buy it here. But again, to trade it, this has landmines written all over it, my friend. What is your view on vaccine stocks as well? I played the vaccine stocks. I owned some Pfizer. I took some profit. I bought some IBB. This is years ago. This is 2020. I bought IBB. I sold that for some profit. So again, I think a lot of it's kind of baked in. Really, the best one that's performed is Moderna. Moderna is right near the 200-day. I read some news that they were the best amongst the vaccine in terms against Omicron. So I guess the best one would be Moderna. If you wanted to buy Pfizer, Pfizer's on fire. They're a breakout too. They pay a decent yield. J&J is probably the healthiest amongst the big bunch in terms of cash flow and balance sheet and their debt. So again, any of those three are fine if you wanted to buy buy vaccine plays. I would just stick with those. IBB is okay. If you want to just buy the biotech ETF, you'll own it. But I would say Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J is your best bet. J&J, more of a staple than it is a healthcare. You're always going to buy J&J, foot powder, I guess, or whatever. or baby shampoo in a sense. Pfizer has a portfolio of drugs as well. As you know, they make Viagra, right? And then you also have Moderna, which has the, I guess, the best vaccine, if you want to call it that. That's the vaccine that I have. I got the Moderna one. I really didn't have any side effects. Again, that's up to you if you guys want to get vaccinated. I'm just letting you know what I got. So again, Moderna looks good here to buy if you want to own some. I don't own any of Moderna. I don't own any Pfizer, but I own J&J in an ETF. I believe Pfizer would probably be in there too because it's one of the bigger parts of the healthcare sector. Really, the only healthcare stock that I like and own is United Health. And I have been banging on the table in regards to aftermarket recaps that I did on Instagram and on the morning note. Is United Health under 400 is a gift, and it was a gift. And I added more at 400. I've been in United Health now. Let me see what my average price was. Average price on United Health. If I could find it. United Health, my average price was 218. So I'm up about 121%. I only own about 28 shares. I would love to buy more. It's one of my favorite companies to own. And if you guys remember, that was one of my top 10 stocks of 2019. UNH is a great company, my favorite healthcare stock. But again, out of the three major ones, it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for growth, I would say Moderna. If you're looking for just kind of safety in a sense, a consistent yield, a great balance sheet, J&J doesn't get better than that. And then if you're looking for the hybrid of between, it would probably be Pfizer. So again, it really goes back to your risk, what you prefer. Thoughts on Nike earnings and how the stock can react. Nike did just report. We went over that over the top here. Nike is a great company. They are now at 162.40. You can see it did fill that gap here, the downside gap. So that's nice. Anything below 145, I'm a buyer. I own shares. I bought Nike. Nike I've owned since 126.62. I'm at about 28% on the stock. Again, I just love sneakers. That's why I love Nike. Nike's my favorite brand, one of my favorite brands of clothing in general. So again, like I always say, buy stocks, buy companies that you actually, you plan to, you actually consume. And I think that this quarter was an excellent one. I think Micron's quarter was excellent. And I think this could give a little bit of help to the bulls moving forward tomorrow, as I expect tomorrow to be a green day. Let's see what we get. Thoughts on ARKK? Love ARKK. I own it. My portfolio. Again, this is in a weird way kind of a hedge to more COVID infections and lockdowns. Because look at the names that ARKK owns. They have Teladoc. Obviously, they have Tesla, the big one. They also have what is it? Oh, God, I actually had it here. Let me go ahead and go over the holdings. ARKK Holdings. Much easier if I just do that. ARKK Holdings, this is the all 154 of the companies that they own. Tesla, this is all weighted. Tesla being the number one largest. Teladoc, I own that. Coinbase, I own that. Roku, I own that. Zoom, I own that. So again, if we get more lockdowns, if we start getting more of that stuff in terms of, COVID infections, ARKK is going to be a big beneficiary because a lot of these growth names did well during the COVID lockdowns and the COVID issues. So again, kind of a both sides kind of play in a sense that if you do get lockdowns and that's obviously knock on wood, you don't want anything bad happening in terms of the country and health wise, but if it does, ARKK is in a bad place in a sense to hedge because of the names that have already been beaten down, and you'd be buying really cheap here. You're practically buying at the lows in a sense. So I do like ARKK. I do own it. Most of the names that they own, I already own outright. Roku has been a great one for me. Obviously, it's pulled back, but again, I think they're an excellent company. I like Teladoc. I've used Teladoc. Zoom, I've used Zoom. I own some, not tons. But again, I like what Cathie Wood's doing here. Even in the face of adversity, I think she's sticking with it. And I think in 2022, she's definitely going to get a little more love for those growth names. Does Tesla have any more room to fall this week? I think Tesla is probably hit support. Really, the worst it'll go to is maybe 879. That's that 100-day. It finally filled this downward gap here. But I've said that 900 level was very key. We closed a smidge below that, 6 cents. I think here is a good level if you wanted to buy some. I bought some SPY-G. Tesla's a top 10 holding of it. So in a sense, I got more Tesla exposure with SPY-G, again, being my ETF, my favorite ETF. So again, I think right around here, you get around 880. Worst case, that'll be your floor. If it does break, then you're talking about 767. But I think 880 seems to be that, 881 seems to be that floor, 900. So again, we'll see where we get from there. But I think the worst is probably over with Tesla. Elon is done selling his shares, so I've read. Nothing like afternoon coffee. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I drink probably like 2 cups a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Let's take a look at Zoom today. Zoom was down 0.89% today. You can see starting to pick up a little bit, kind of getting out of this little range here, this downward channel. You can see this kind of range here right in between 195 and around 175, about a $20 difference there in the range. But it looks like I think that Zoom by the end of the year should get us around 200, 210. Once it does that, then we should get a little more. I like Zoom moving forward, especially with ARKK. So I think Zoom does push up a little bit here. I still like it, and especially with, again, more Omicron issues. If vaccination rates don't get better, if we get more issues in terms of COVID, if we get into lockdown, Zoom's going to soar. Maybe more companies are going to be pressing the brakes on having people come to the office, so Zoom will be more used. I don't love the stock. I think there's a lot of companies that offer what Zoom offers. Is not, Intuit offers a GoToMeeting, which is what I use. I mean, Facebook has their video service, FaceTime with Apple. Sure, you can't have sharing screens, but you could do that with Microsoft Groups. So it's not like Zoom has some kind of patent technology in what they do. Granted, they're probably the #1 used, but again, hey, Coca-Cola didn't invent soda pop, but yet they're one of the largest. They're right there with Pepsi. So I guess you don't have to invent it in order to perfect it. That's kind of like the Apple way to do things. So that's what I'm thinking here in terms of the market. I think tomorrow that we do get a bounce, guys. I think that 100-day moving average really told us a lot. I think that us testing that, I thought if we would break that, it would get worse, but that bounce was very key. Going by the end of the week, I think we'll get above 46.58 by the end of the week. If we can get to 4,700 by the end of the week, I think the Santa rally is intact. Now, granted, that's a big, big move to fill. You're talking about 130 handles. Can it be done? We saw 100 handles in a day from the FOMC. And we saw another 50 handles down the day after. So again, markets are very volatile. Just be very careful. A lot of people were talking about shorting the market. If you shorted the market right at the 100, you're pretty much down. It's a tough one out there. But again, futures is so key to watch. That's why I always tweet about them on after hours, because it's so important to keep an eye on. Again, we have to see what Asia is doing. We have to see what Europe is doing, especially kind of setting us forward for the day. Nvidia and GM, let's go and take a look at it. Nvidia, I do love. Of course I do. Nvidia, let's see it. Did it bounce? It bounced right at the level that I wanted, well, near it, 268.64. You could see it there. Let's see if we break down. Maybe it'll be an opportunity for me to buy. 245 being the 100-day. But Nvidia is up so much, so fast this year. I mean, taking profits is not a bad idea if you're that type of person that wants to take the profits. Nvidia is a great one. GM, I think Ford has been performing a little, obviously a lot more, not a little better. But GM isn't a terrible name to own. It did break the major moving averages on the daily. I would probably target 48 if you wanted to buy some. Again, but I think we get a bounce anyways. So possibly 56 tomorrow on GM. We'll see. Again, it really depends on how the market as a whole kind of digests the market move today. Do we get a little lower? Do we get a little higher? I think odds are the path of least resistance is a little higher, since that moving average has really shown us the floor temporarily. So again, last 2 weeks of the year, very, very important to keep the risk low. Just get out of the year and see where we go from there. What are your thoughts on China plays with the Olympics coming up? Again, I already have some China plays. NIO has been beaten down. BABA has been beaten down. I love both companies. I own both. I'm with owning both. So again, I think China turns around. I think that by next year things should be a little better. So I'm a little bullish on China. I don't think the Olympics really makes a difference in my opinion. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me today on the aftermarket recap. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. And have a great rest of your day. A couple of games tonight on football. You have Monday Night Football, Vikings and Bears. I'm going to go with the Vikings on that one. And then you have the Browns and the Raiders today. I think they're playing right now. I'll take the Browns to win. Just my picks. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. JJ, Jeffrey, Dr. Jack, Belligerent, Preston, and Costas, thank you so much for joining me today and your questions. Anything else further that I missed, feel free to leave me a comment on the comment section, and I'll get to you ASAP. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later.